So last week I went on a bit of a vacation for like 4 days. I traveled out to a city that I don't want to tell you the name of because it's very important to another project that I'm going to be working on. That this video is kind of related to. Kind of, just a tiny bit. So I went out there and I decided that I wanted to do something every night. I'm not a person who likes going out and drinking or going out and going out to bars, going out to casinos and stuff like that. So I was going to go and do some drawing. But I decided instead of that, I would do some painting. Some miniature painting. So I quickly, this is about 48 hours before, I cleaned up my 3D printer. My Elegoo Jupiter that had some resin on its screen. I cleaned that up. And then I quickly printed off a few models. My plan was every night to go and paint a base and a model. And let's see how well that plan came together.
All the models that I'm painting up in this video are from Cast and Play's Wild West Mayhem campaign that they recently ran over on my mini factory. I'll be painting up Sharp-Eyed Klaus, Frank Dubois, and Sheriff Vienna, along with a couple of their wood plank bases and a dry mud base for 25mm models. I do need to find some more pretty good Wild West type characters or models for 3D printing. If you know any, let me know in the comments of who makes them good ones. So to prep for painting on this trip, I made a small to-go package. I grabbed my Red Grass Games wet palette, a couple of hydration papers, and 11 paints to go with me. I also grabbed the models and I grabbed 3 different brushes. Wolf bristle brushes, I grabbed a 2, a 1, and a 00. And I just had this with me as, kind of a to-go palette or a to-go painting kit. And it actually worked out fairly well. We'll talk about the colors as I go through them. So I use a lot of the same colors for certain areas on the models. And the color lines that I used were a lot of Vallejo's game color line, along with a few from their model color line. Because these are Wild West themed models, I wanted to make sure I had a kind of a deep, rich leather color. So I took leather brown, flat red, and black and mixed them all together to get this fairly deep brown color. I use that for jackets, chaps, hair, boots, gun stocks, anything that could be considered like wood or leather, I used it there. Then for the skin tone, I used bronze flesh tone from the game color line, just to kind of give it a consistency. I'm not great at doing it, but I don't think it looks like a great flesh tone, but I decided to just, use that for this. For now. As I could develop my skill, maybe I'll go away from using bronze flesh tone, but right now I think it worked. Then for every character's pants, I just used the buff color from the model color line. For different gun barrels, I just used the gunmetal paint from the Vallejo game color line. Then we have the part that really didn't turn out well because I don't know how to do eyes. So I kind of just put in some dead white and some flat blue or flat red. I'm not proficient at doing eyes. Then for doing some highlighting when it comes to a lot of these general use things, the leather, I just used leather brown and I mixed it with some dead white to get the lighter tones. For highlighting the skin, I just used the bronze flesh tone along with some dead white. And the same with the pants, buff and dead white. That's it. That's how I did it because I didn't bring a regular white. I brought the game color lines dead white. Now let's get into some more model specific stuff that I did. So Sharp-Eyed Klaus was the first model that I worked on, and I'm sorry about the quality of the recording. I recorded on an iPhone with not very good light, so yeah, it ain't looking that good, but hey, you're gonna get better pictures of it by the end of this. So for model specific stuff that I did for Klaus, I took the buff paint to try and make it look kind of khaki-ish for his undershirt and his pants that are under his chap. For his bandolier, I decided to use leather brown and kind of just paint all over it because I don't have a metal color other than gunmetal. So without having a copper type color, it kind of was a bit harder to do for the actual ammo, so I just did all leather brown. I think it turned out okay. Not great, but okay. Then for his belt buckle, because he has a pretty big one, I used flat red to just give it that little pop of color. And I decided, instead of highlighting his boots with just leather brown and dead white, I went with a flat red and leather brown mix to give him, slightly redder boots. Then on like the second or third night, I don't remember what night it was, but one of the nights, I picked up the Frank Dubois model and I started to paint that. For the shirt, I was aiming for purple by combining flat red and flat blue, but it ended up becoming more blue than it did purple. Then I painted his tie, which I decided, you know what, let's make that really stand out. So I went with a flat red on there, make it look, you know, make it pop a little bit. Then for his suspenders and his belt, I just used that same like deep rich leather color that I made before. And for his spurs, I decided to just go and paint everything that was connected to them gunmetal, so they stand out just a tiny bit, rather than having, you know, the straps all the same leather color as the boots. And for highlights, I just used leather brown on the boots. Then the shirt, I mixed in flat blue and dead white to try and get, you know, spots where it is a bit lighter. And the tie was the same thing, but with flat red and dead white to get the highlights in there.
As you can see, I got 2 models done, 2 28mm models. What I didn't do is the third model or any of these bases that I printed off. I printed off 3 bases to go with them. I didn't work on a single one. So now that I am home, I'm going to quickly paint up the female sheriff and all the bases with the small assortment of colors that I did bring with me.
So even though at this time I am home working on this Sheriff Vienna model, I stuck with the colors that I had. I didn't grab any of the Duncan Rhodes ones. I didn't grab any of the other Vallejo colors that I have or any of the Reaper colors that I have. I stuck with what I had grabbed before. So I took the bloody red from Vallejo's game color line and I painted her shirt. And then to highlight that, I mixed in a bit of the flat red and some dead white to the bloody red and put that over the areas that would be highlighted. Then for her hair, I did orange fire and bloody red, mix them together to go and paint the hair in. I don't think I got like a great consistency for that. I think it looks okay, but I think I could probably do better on that. And then her boots, I just did the same highlighting I did everywhere else with leather brown. Then when it came to the 2 bases, for the wood base, I mixed leather brown with black for the kind of base color to give it a darker wood color. Then I used leather brown for like a medium tone and then buff for slight highlighting. And with the grasses that are on there, I just took dark green as my base color and then mixed it with dead white for the highlight color. Then the dry mud base is a flat red and leather brown mix for the base color with leather brown as like mid-tone highlighting. And the rocks that are on there, I used buff to make that kind of stick out a little bit more. And then I also mixed buff with dead white for like the high highlights, for like the tops of the rock. I think altogether, I really like how these models turned out, except for like the faces, because, you know, they're so damn small that trying to get actual good detail on there, I think is really hard, especially when, like me, you're a beginner painter. So I want to improve that, and now that I have the 3D printer fixed, I can actually start like working on improving that. But before I get to, you know, finishing up other models, like my whole combat patrol of Necrons that I have, I need to finish up Fire and Hammer box. I just want to make this quick video because I was gone for, you know, about a week. But yeah, that's all I got. So if you did like this video and want to see me paint some more miniatures and print some more miniatures off, please do all the algorithm stuff. Like the video, subscribe, turn on notification bell, all that stuff. And I hope you have a royal day or a royal night, whatever it is for you when you're watching this video.
Come here.